Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Venerable Mind Pegula Sara Mahatheru, the Chief Incumbent of the Paramadhamma Chaitya Mahapirivena, the Secretary General of the World Buddhist Sangha Council, I extend a warm welcome to all of you present here today. This event is a significant occasion for us as we gather to receive His Holiness Sakya Gongma Trichen Rinpoche, the 41st Sakya Trichen, his spiritual hers, the 42nd Sakya Trichen, His Holiness Ratna Vajra Rinpoche, the 43rd Sakya Trichen, His Holiness Ratna Vajra Rinpoche, along with his esteemed spiritual consort, Galunga, and the entourage. Venerable Mahinda, Chief Incumbent of the Aloka Meditation Centre, Sydney, Australia, Sister Sumitra, and the devotees, the Venerable Monk, and distinguished guests. To begin this auspicious event, I would like to invite Venerable Maitave Vimalasara Mahathero, the Chief Incumbent of the Paramadhamma Chaitya Mahapirivena, Secretary General of the World Buddhist Sangha Council, to deliver the welcome speech.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Most Venerable Mahasangha, distinguished guests, and pious Upasaka Upasikas, it is with great joy and honor that we welcome His Holiness Sakya Gongma Trichen Rinpoche, His spiritual heirs, 42nd Sakya Trichen, His Holiness Ratna Vajra Rinpoche, and the 43rd Sakya Trichen, His Holiness Ratna Vajra Rinpoche, along with his esteemed spiritual consort and the entourage to the sacred grounds of the Paramadhamma Chaitya Mahapirivena. Since its humble beginnings in 1841, our Pirivena has been a place of profound learning and spiritual growth. What began with only 17 students has now become an esteemed institution where monks and lay people alike receiving both academic and moral education. We take great pride in our temple's long-standing traditions of fostering not only scholarly achievement but also compassion and social service. Throughout its rich history, Paramadhamma Chaitya Mahapirivena has been an anchor for the community working tirelessly towards reconciliation, understanding, and the betterment of society. One of the key goals of PDCP, Paramadhamma Chaitya Pirivena, is to foster universal harmony, peace, and unity while cultivating a positive mindset towards religious diversity. This includes embracing various Buddhist traditions such as Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, and others, as we recognize that despite belongs to different schools, we are all brothers and sisters following the same Buddha. Today, as we gather to receive the blessings and the teachings of His Holiness, we are reminded of the spiritual ties that bind us across nations and cultures. We are deeply grateful for the opportunity to continue our religious programs and collaboration with such an esteemed leader as His Holiness, who has contributed so much to the preservation of the fostering of the teachings of the Buddha. His Holiness' visit to Sri Lanka is regarded as a great blessing. We strongly believe that it will be benefited to society. We believe that His Holiness' visit will further strengthen the ties between our institutions and lead to profound cultural and spiritual exchange that will continue to benefit generations to come. With great aspiration, I would like to acknowledge Venerable Mahinda's and Sister Sumitra's contribution and coordination in facilitating this visit to Sri Lanka. And also I would like to welcome at the Paramadhamma Chethiya Pirivena, the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka's opposition leader, Honorable Sachit Premadasa, who is the son of the President Ranasinghe Premadasa. And also that the leader like Mr. Dilip Javira and many others are here, that all of you are welcome over here. And the delegates from the other countries, from Australia, from Malaysia, from Singapore, from other countries also, sincerely I welcome each and every one of you. No doubt that our small monks, those who are studying here, that we cannot forget them, and they are also welcome at this moment. Our Dhamma school students and their parents and our well-wishers and all government officers also, I sincerely welcome every one of you. Most Venerable Mahasangha from Sri Lanka, and though we belongs to the Theravada tradition, that is our practice to promote the religious harmony and with compassion and loving kindness to throughout the world. That's the message of the Buddha. Therefore, sincerely I welcome each and every one of you from our different temples, locally, our Sri Lankan Venerable monks, staff of the Paramadhamma Chethiya Pirivena as well. All other venerables from the different locations that we call as the lamas, they are also welcome at the Paramadhamma Chethiya Pirivena. No doubt our closest friend, Venerable Hirama Vimalajyoti Nayaka Mahathera, and I sincerely welcome you, despite of your ill health, that you are here to witness this program. Once again, I would like to say, this is very, very important occasion at our Paramadhamma Chethiya Pirivena. We want to live in a peace. We want to live in a universal harmony. That we have to begin from the temples. We don't have any differences, even though that we may wear the different colors of the robes. However, that as I said, that we all are the sons and sisters of the same Buddha. May His Holiness live long to promote the teachings of the Buddha throughout the world. May everyone be well and happy by the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. බොහොම පිං අද දවසේ මේ ස්ථානයට හැම කෙනෙක්ම පැමිණීම පිළිබඳව. තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
Thank you, Venerable Vimalasara Mahathero, for the insightful address. We are now honored to invite Venerable Mahinda Thero, the Chief Incumbent of the Aloka Meditation Center in Sydney, Australia, to deliver the introductory address. Venerable Mahinda, together with Sister Sumitra, has played a significant role in making this event a success, and we are sincerely grateful for their support.
Gongma Rinpoche La, His Holinesses, the 42nd and 43rd Sakya Trichen, Yom Chemola, and all the entourage. Garutara Maha Sangharatnen Avasrai, Shraddhavanta Pingvatne, all the distinguished guests, brothers and sisters in the Dharma. It gives me great joy to be back here at Paramadhamma Chethiya Pirivena. 49 years ago, my first trip to Sri Lanka, this was the first place that I visited. 1 year later, I started my Buddhist studies at the Paramadhamma Buddhist Institute, a few minutes walk from here at Lumini Mawata. And this is where the seed of Dharma has been sown in me. I truly rejoice with the great works of the chief incumbent, Venerable Vimalasara, and all the other monks who have uplifted the spirit of Paramadhamma Chetya Pirivena. What is the spirit of Paramadhamma Chetya Pirivena? When I was studying here for 5 years, from 1977 to 1982, I spent 3 years here and another 2 years in Vidyalankara Pirivena. Here I learned the openness of the Venerable Vipalasara Mathera. I was a young monk at that time, and I used to sit outside the office of Venerable Vipalasara, and I see so many people queuing up with all kinds of problems. They have job problems, they have no jobs, they have family problems, all kinds of problems. And what the Venerable Vipalasara would say, I've learned many things, but there's one thing impressed in my mind. He would use this word, prashnak ne. Kisima prashnak ne. If we really try to say these words meaningfully, sincerely in our hearts, I think we would live a happier life. Yeah? And that is how Venerable Vipalasara had impressed this in my heart. Now, today we have the great fortune. We have the great fortune to be in the presence of Gongma Rinpoche La. His Holiness Sakya Gongma Trichen served as the 41st head of the Sakya order of Tibetan Buddhism for 55 years. From 1952 till 2017. In March 2017, he handed over his duties as a throne holder, to the two spiritual heirs, His Holiness Ratna Vajra, the 42nd Sakya Trichen, and His Holiness Jnana Vajra, the 43rd Sakya Trichen. Just as there are different nikayas, different sects amongst the monks in Sri Lanka, there are 4 main schools or sects of Tibetan Buddhism. They are the Nyingma-pa, the oldest school, the Kagyupa, Sakya-pa, and Gelugpa. Each of these 4 main schools have their own leader, similar to the Mahanayaka system in Sri Lanka. His Holiness was recognized as the 41st Sakya Trichen. The word Sakya Trichen refers to the throne holder of the Sakya school. He was recognized when he was just 8 years old, and he was enthroned. He had all the qualities, the learnedness, even from that very young age. He maintains an unbroken lineage of more than 1,000 years. This connection, the connection to such genuine and authentic spiritual masters, it constitutes a truly great source of blessings. And we have invited His Holiness and his entourage to invoke blessings for Sri Lanka and the good sons and daughters of Lanka. I first met His Holiness in Malaysia 10 years ago. When I heard that he had a wish to visit Sri Lanka, I gladly took the opportunity to invite him to Sri Lanka to invoke blessings for the people of Lanka. Because I am personally grateful to the good sons and daughters of Lanka who have helped to preserve the Buddha Sasana in this sacred island for more than 2,300 years. As I mentioned to you all before, I studied here for 5 years, and I also had the opportunity to meditate in the different aranyas in Kandaboda, Tapovarnaya, and eventually I studied under the guidance of Venerable Amatagavesi of Palakeli. As such, I am truly indebted to the great sons and daughters of Lanka. When I heard about the plight of Sri Lanka as a result of economic downturn and other challenges, I sincerely prayed for peace, for harmony, for stability in the country. The greatest gift that Sri Lanka can offer to the world at this chaotic and turbulent time is the Dhamma. The Dhamma is the best thing in life, and it is the greatest protection. Dhammo havi rakati dhammachari. One who lives in the Dhamma protects one. Dhammo suchinno sukhamavahati. Dhamma, well practiced, brings happiness and joy. Sri Lanka has been successful. For more than 2,000 years, despite all the ups and downs, the wars, the famines, and so many other things, there have been great kings and rulers, great scholars and practitioners, as well as great activists and freedom fighters, especially during the colonial days and immediately after the colonial days. People like Anagarika Dharmapala, and there was also one monk from Tibet Mahinda. I remember when I was a young monk traveling between here and Panadura in the train, people will look at me and ask me, "What's your name?" I say, "Mahinda." He says, "Tibet Mahinda?" I said, No. Tibet Mahinda lived early, much earlier. But Tibet Mahinda, he's actually from Sikkim, but he prefers to call himself Tibet Mahinda. He studied Sinhala, he was a poet, and he was instrumental to uplift the national spirit of Lanka. And of course, more recently, we witnessed the passing away of Dr. A.T. Aryaratna. Dr. A.T. Aryaratna, the founder of Sarvodaya Shramadana movement that served the poor and the disadvantaged irrespective of caste, irrespective of creed. This service has rendered throughout Sri Lanka, throughout the 26 districts in Sri Lanka. All of us who have benefited from the great sacrifices and contributions of our predecessors have a role to play in these challenging times. In order to preserve and promote the Buddha Sasana, we need to bear in mind, we need to remember there are three aspects of Dharma. Pariyatti, Patipatti, Pativeda. Pariyatti is the study, the theory. Patipatti is the practice. Pativeda is the realization. We can have all the books, we can have all the scholarships in Sri Lanka, but if we do not put the Dharma into practice and realize the Dharma, then our understanding of Buddhism will be very shallow. For example, the Buddha defined who a monk is simply because of shaven head and saffron robe. Saffron, they do not make a monk. It is through one's actions, it's through one's practice that one becomes a real monk. Yeah. So I'm glad that the chief incumbent of this temple has mentioned that recognized as the General Secretary of the World Sangha Congress, recognizes the Sangha community across tradition, Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana. When I was a young monk, when I graduated, I thought enlightenment is the monopoly of Theravada Buddhism, and especially the pure Nirmala Dharma from Sri Lanka. But after my meeting with great masters and teachers in Thailand, in Burma, in China, in Tibet, I realized that enlightenment does not come in just one uniform. So in order to preserve the Buddha Sasana, yes, there are pirivenas. There are so many books, so many other things for us to learn. And monks, so many monks now going to university to become doctors. But as the intellect grows, their devotion reduces. They become critical. And that is why the spirit of Dharma is slowly dissipating. So please remember this. Of course, I wish to conclude with a prayer that is always recited toward the end of our Pirit chanting. Devo vasatu kalena sabba sampati hetucha pito bhavatu lokocha raja bhavatu dhammiko. Devo vasatu kalena. May the rain, may the devas of the skies give us the rain in seasonable time. Sabba sampati hetucha. May there be good fortune when all the conditions, the right conditions coming together for great fortune to arise. Fortune, luck, does not come from heaven. It comes through our own merits, through our own practice. Our pool of merits, that is the thing that will bring about fortune in our life. Pito bhavatu lokocha. Yes, there are great challenges in the world. But we still pray that there be continued prosperity in the country and in the world at large. Raja Bhavatu Dhammiko, may the king, may the rulers be righteous. If the king and rulers are not righteous, you know, as what is happening now in the world today, you can see what is happening now. So let us pray that these are the things. Devo vasatu kalena sabha sampati hetucha pito bhavatu lokocha raja bhavatu dhammiko. May we humbly request His Holiness and entourage to invoke blessings. Blessings of the Buddha and all the great lineage masters. Remember that the lineage masters, they have an unbroken lineage of more than 1,000 years. Every day in their prayer and in all their functions, they remember all the great lineage masters, the accomplished masters. So please, out of compassion, Your Holiness, please invoke blessings. All your great lineage masters for Lanka and all the good sons and daughters of Lanka who have sacrificed, made so much a sacrifice to give their good sons and daughters for the Sasana. Your Holiness, also please introduce us to the great lineage of Sakya that Your Holiness so dearly uphold. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have the honor of hearing a brief address from Mr. Sajith Premadasa, the opposition leader of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. He is the son of late President Mr. Ranasinghe Premadasa, who was the third President of Sri Lanka, who has remarkably contributed to the Buddhist activities in Sri Lanka, around the world, which are deeply cherished as of today. We are privileged to welcome him today. Thank you.
Most Venerable Maitipe Vimalasara Thero and Most Venerable Priests, His Holiness Sakya Gongma Trichen Rinpoche, the 41st Sakya Trichen, Honorable Dilip Jayavira, Mr. Rambabu, First Secretary of the Indian High Commission, devotees and friends. We are honored and happy to have His Holiness in Sri Lanka, and we believe that your visit, together with your entourage, will strengthen the ties between our nations, and we believe that your visit brings us blessings, guidance, and of course nurture the deep connection to the teachings of Lord Buddha. So it is in reality a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to receive Your Holiness, who has at all times preached brotherhood, togetherness, peace, harmony, and prosperity to all. The Paramadhamma Chethiya Mahapirivena is a noble institution that has promoted the dissemination of the teachings of Lord Buddha. Lies at the core of Buddhism the principles of compassion, loving, kindness, while promoting equality, harmony, and peaceful coexistence. These teachings emphasizes that all beings in the world live as one, in unity, harmony, equality, viewing each other with affection. The entire Buddhist doctrine is rooted in love and compassion for all beings, including plants, animals, and the entire living world. The Buddhist philosophy of causality reveals the universal truth that transcends the scientific understanding of reality. It is an eternal truth. According to the teachings of Lord Buddha, Sabba Papa Sakarana, to abstain from all evil. Kusalasa Upasampada, to cultivate good. Sachitta Pariyodapana, to purify the mind. Etam Buddhahanusasana. This is the teaching of Lord Buddha. So once again, I would like to thank the Most Venerable Mai Tipe Vimalasarathero for having had this most important gathering with the support of Most Reverend Mahinda. And once again, we welcome His Holiness Sakya Gongma Trichen Rinpoche and his entourage for visiting Paramadhamma Chethiya Pirivena, and we sincerely hope that this visit ensures and enhances Sri Lanka's progress towards equity, harmony, brotherhood, unity, friendship, and prosperity for all. Thiruvan Saranai.
Thank you, Mr. Premadasa. Next, we have a very special performance by the talented students of our Dhamma school. With heartfelt devotion and enthusiasm, they have prepared a beautiful song to offer their respects and blessings to this auspicious event. Remarkably, this performance was practiced within a short period of time as requested by Venerable Mahinda Thero. The song, originally sung by renowned artist W.D. Amadeva, will be presented today by Mishali Viranga, our head prefect, along with Binuli Senaratna, Shavera Sahansa, and Minoli Senaratnam. Let us warmly welcome them with a round of applause.
निवासना पाया प्रकाशे बोलो मते में देवलो भवासे पेना ने पूरमुनि सासन वासे Irdiyen yannabu nigraha dunge Irdiyen yannabu nigraha dunge Sivanal leniru Rashmiya bange Sivanal leniru Rashmiya bange Nilum ha olu pushpadi Ette pokunuvala bojala sadi Serupanti panti pinati bose Anuradhanagaraya den pene ose Anuradhanagaraya den pene ose Anuradhanagaraya den pene ose
It is now with great reverence and joy that we request His Holiness Sakya Gongma Trichen Rinpoche to bless us with his presence and share his teachings. His Holiness has been a beacon of wisdom and compassion for many, and we are truly honored to receive his words today.
First of all, please forgive me that I could not stand there and give the speech by standing because my legs and back are not so strong, so I couldn't stand up. Most respected Venerable abbot of the monastery, and also the Venerable Sangha members, distinguished guests, Dharma brothers and sisters. First of all, I would like to extend my very warm greetings and best wishes to all of you who are present here. And at the same time, I would like to thank you very much for giving us such a warm and traditional welcome upon our visit here in this very beautiful monastery. As you know that I'm from Tibet, and I came to India first time in 1956 when the Buddha Jayanti was celebrated in India 2,500 years. And so at that time, I also visited all the holy places where Buddha was born, where the Buddha attained the enlightenment, where Buddha entered the Mahaparinirvana, where the Buddha turned the wheel of Dharma. And then I went back to Tibet for 2 years. And then I was enthroned as a throne holder of the Sakya tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. As you know that we have the 4 schools. When Buddhism came from India to Tibet, it came in kind of gradually. So it developed the 4 schools. And we are the Sakyapas. And then in 1959, I again have to come due to the revolution started in Tibet. So I have to come forced to come to India. Since then, since 1959, I've been living in India, in northern India, a place called Dehradun, which is the foothills of the Himalayas. And I visited many countries, but I have a very eager to visit the Buddhist countries. I've already been to Thailand and Japan and other countries, but never been here. And it was due to the Venerable Mahindathera and his disciples who very kindly arranged my trip here in Sri Lanka. So this is my first trip to Sri Lanka. And I was so impressed. The beauty of the country, the people's spiritual conditions, how they are compassionate and how they are spiritual. And also, most impressive thing is there's so many temples and so many stupas which contains many holy objects of the Buddha's relics. We managed to visit the Kandy, the Truth Temple, and many other temples, and it was so great blessing that I feel like really seeing the real Buddha in person. So it was a great fortune, great blessing, great fortune for us to be able to visit the Sri Lanka. And as I said that in Tibet, that before the Buddhism came, there was the Bon religion, which is the original Tibetan spiritual practice. And Tibet is referred as a land of snow. Snow is actually white. And because Tibet was all surrounded by very beautiful snow mountains and beautiful environment and very clean environment. But it is said that until the Buddhism, which is like a sunshine from India, came, Tibet, in spite of being in the snow land, it is still dark. When the Buddhism, the Buddha Dharma, which is like a sunshine, came from India to Tibet, then it became the bright and splendid and white, bright. And due to the great blessings of the Indian masters and great kindness of the Tibetan Dharma kings, and especially the translators who've gone through so hardship because at that time, to travel all the way from Tibet to India is not easy, because there were no cars, no trains, no planes. You have to walk all the way from Tibet, passing many high pass and rivers, and so long. And then India and Tibet, the climatically, it's a very different. Tibet is a cold country, India is a hot country, and so they have to go through all this, but they managed to bear this, and then brought the Buddha Dharma to Tibet, and Buddhism was established in Tibet earlier also, but the real one and during the Guru Bama Sambhava and the Abed Chandarakshita and King Chisong Dezen. So these were the three pioneer great persons who not only brought the Buddhism, but well as founded and well established in Tibet. And since then it developed so far. So there, as Venerable Mahinda already said, we have 4 major schools: the Nyingma-pa, Sakya-pa, Kargyupa, and Gelupas. These 4 schools, and the first, the motivation of bodhicitta, enlightenment mind. In the meantime, the practice of Sutrayana and Mantrayana together, and eventually to accomplish the ultimate enlightenment. There's no difference. It's all same. The only difference is the lineage is different. How the teaching original source from India, and then how it came through the translators, and then it been passed down from one master to the next master. So that's why that it is somewhat slightly different. The emphasis is slightly different. Some schools emphasize more on studies. Some schools emphasize more on the meditations. But otherwise, basically, there's absolutely no difference. And we have a very good interconnections. And many other schools, lamas come to our monastery and give teachings. We also go to the other monasteries and give teachings. We have an excellent relationships. So as you know, that I was the throne holder of the Sakya order, and Sakya order was founded by the Kern lineages. Kern lineage family was originally believed to be the direct descendants of the celestial beings. So the first name is the clear light celestial race. Second name is that the Kern. Kern means disagreement between the Rakshas and the Kerns outwardly, but inwardly the wisdom is disagreement with the ignorance. And third name is Sakya. The monastery was founded. The original Kerns, the earlier Kerns were all Bombos. Of course, at that time there was no Buddhism, so they were only Bombos. But then during the Kern Nagendra Rakshita and his brother, both have disciple of direct Guru Pema Sambhava and Sangha Rakshita. And in fact, Kön Nagendra received the full Bhikshu ordination from the abbot Shandarakshita. And it is said that the Tibetans have never received the Bhikshu ordination before. So they were choosing 7 persons as a trial, whether the Tibetans will be able to keep the Buddhist monks, the Bhikshu ordination rules or not. So the 7 persons were chosen, and 3 elder persons, 3 younger persons, and 1 middle-aged person. And Kön Nagendra was one of them. And they've been very successful in keeping their Vinaya rules. So it was the auspicious beginning of the founding the great Tibetan, thousands of great Tibetan monasteries, and where there are tens of thousands of the fully ordained monks. And then they were originally the Köns were Nyingmapas. And then after many generations, during the Kön Konchok Gyalpo's time, they felt the time has come to start a separate school. And their old teachings were all concealed. And they found new teachings. But still, due to the protectors, there's showing displeasure, some of the old teachings been still carrying on until now. And since then, so the first Sakya monastery was established in Tibet in 1073. Since then, it's been continued. And the head of the monastery, this school, is had to be a householder, because, as I said, the special race, which is the direct descendants of the celestial beings. So that's why that it has to be passed down from hereditary lineage. But in this lineage, many of the members become fully ordained monks, such as Sakya Pandita, Congratulatory, and Rongun Choye Pakpa, Lamathamba Sonam Jansen, etc. There are many current members have taken the fully Buddhist Bhikshu ordinations. And then it is established that it has sub-branches also, like the Ngorba tradition and Sarva tradition and Dzongpa tradition. These are the sub-schools of the Sakyapa schools. And in the Sakyapa school, we believe that emphasis should be both study as well as meditation. Because without studying, you can't meditate. So the first have to study thoroughly all the philosophical texts. And then after studying, you analyze them, you investigate them, because the Buddha himself said that bhikshus and the wise men should not take my teachings just by mere faith. Only you take after careful examination, just as like when you buy gold. When we buy gold, we have to make sure that it is a genuine gold. So we cut, scratch, and burn and make sure that it is a gold, genuine gold. Only then we buy. Similarly, the teaching also, not just by faith, but you have to digest yourself, analyze yourself, investigate yourself. And when you convince that it is a genuine, according to your own life experience, that it is a genuine, only then you should take. This is the only the Lord Buddha is the only Lord who said that his teachings should take by investigation. There are many religions in the world, there are many lords. Everyone said that my words is the only truth and you should take this. But Buddha didn't say that. Buddha said that you should examine by using your own intelligence, by using your own intuition, that when you convince that, so therefore you have to analyze them. And then when you convince, then you meditate. And after meditation, then you go through the path and eventually attain the nirvana. The great nirvana. We believe that there are several nirvanas. And the great nirvana is the one which we call non-abiding nirvana. Non-abiding nirvana means that out of great wisdom, that we does not remain in the extreme of samsara, because samsara is full of suffering, full of faults, full of misery. So this we realize, and through the developing a great inner wisdom, that we does not remain in the extreme of samsara. And then also out of great compassion to all sentient beings, it is our duty to save all sentient beings, not just to save yourself alone. So out of great compassion does not remain in the extreme of nirvana also. So we are above both true nirvana and samsara. That's called the great nirvana or the non-abiding nirvana. And then attain the enlightenment. And after attaining enlightenment, then you can benefit sentient beings physically, verbally, and mentally. But the most important is the verbally, because the Buddha, after attaining the enlightenment, the greatest activity that he has shown is by giving teachings, by turning the wheel of Dharma. After he attained the enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, he did not teach the first teachings. He said, I found teaching, which is like a nectar-like teaching, but I'm not going to speak because nobody can comprehend this very profound teaching. So he did not give the teaching straight away. So after several weeks, then auspicious conditions were ripening by offering the Brahma and the Indra with the 1,000 spokes of wheels offered to the Buddha, and then only then he gave the first teaching that Buddha gave was at Saranath, the Varanasi, the Four Noble Truths. The truth of suffering, the truth of cause, truth of cessation, and truth of path. And then second, he turned the wheel of Dharma 3 times. The first one is the Four Noble Truths. And second one is at the Vulture Peak, the Parjana Paramita, the perfection of wisdom, where he described about the ultimate truth. In ordinary people, we do not bother to find out what is the truth. more intelligent beings try to investigate why is life is like this, what is the cause, how it all happened. And then after careful investigation comes to the different schools, different thoughts, different philosophical thoughts. And within Buddhism also, there are many different schools. But the Madhyamika, which means the middle way, after careful examination, that there's nothing from the phenomena itself, from the object point itself, nothing existed. You could not find real, and not a single atom you could not find. It's all emptiness. At the same time, it is not just emptiness. It is the clarity. Clarity and emptiness are inseparable. Clarity is not separate from emptiness. Emptiness is not separate from clarity. So these are inseparable, just like the fire and the heat of fire. And then third wheel of Dharma is turned in various places where he describes about the Buddha nature. The Buddha is not outside. Buddha is actually within our own mind. Every sentient being, not only human beings, every living being, true nature of the mind is Buddha nature. True nature of the mind and the true nature of the Buddha's transcendental wisdom, there's no difference. No difference. It's all same. But at the moment, very different because we have the obscurations. And due to the obscurations, we do not see the Buddha nature. So we must try to follow the Buddhas. Buddha himself said that he could not wash your sins by water. He could not remove your sufferings by his hands. But by showing the truth, he showed us the truth and said that this is the truth. And when you realize this truth, you will be liberated. And so this we have to work ourselves. Not from the outside force can save us. We have to save ourselves. That's why the Buddha himself said that you yourself is the savior of you. Nobody can save you. Only you can save yourself. And so therefore, every living being has the Buddha nature. So that we have to realize one day. And how we realize is based on the good moral conduct. The Vinaya rules are very, very important. So we believe that the Theravada is the foundation of all the Buddhism. Without the Theravada Vinaya traditions, that we could not succeed the advanced and the higher practices. So this is the very, very important. And when Buddha came to India, the outwardly, the majority of the disciples, the majority of the teachings that publicly given for the general public's view is the Theravada teachings. But then for some disciples, he gave the Mahayana teachings. And some very, very important secluded disciples gave the Vajrayana teachings. And I was very impressed, actually, to hear. I was told that the Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana were all here in the Sri Lanka and visited some place where they are all. So it's a great, very important to first of all, to the Vinaya rules, I believe, is the very, very important and is the foundation of all the Buddhism. And so, though Buddhism started in India and then went to many countries, especially in South Asia, but in Tibet, where we have all the traditions, we have the Theravada traditions, we have monks, Vinaya rules, we have monks, nuns, and we have like rainy season retreats, ordinations, and Katin ceremonies, and all the Vinaya rules. If we have a dialogue between Tibetan scholars and Theravada country scholars, we have a complete agreement together. The practices, as far as the practices are concerned, that there's a complete sameness, that everything is same. And then when the Mahayana countries, such as Japan and Korea, Vietnam, and then we have all the Sutta, Mahayana sutras, such as the Lotus Sutra and Diamond Sutra, and that are also completely joined together, completely in agreement. And then in the Vajrayana countries, such as the Mongolia, and so also some in Japan, also in Bhutan, and all these Himalaya regions are all Vajrayana practitioners. So we have of course, Tibet is basically a Vajrayana country. And the most people practices is Vajrayana practices. So that is the unique thing, is that in Tibet we have all three traditions together. And we can have a dialogue with every Buddhist country, and there's a complete sameness with every Buddhist countries. So the need of the hour now is that it is very important not only to, out of faith, to practice, to go to the temples, do prostrations, light incense, do circumambulations, and do ceremonies. These are very important, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is Venerable Sangha members, as well as the lay Dharma brothers and sisters, everybody should study sutras and their commentaries so that they can have the clear understanding of what is Buddhism, what is different between Buddhism and other religions. And within Buddhism, what kind of different teachings that Buddha gave. Buddha gave enormous teachings according to the abilities and propensities and defilements, situations that Buddha gave different teachings. So these all we have to study. Without studying, we will not be able to comprehend. So we have to study and then digest ourselves and then meditate. Only through the meditation that we can eliminate our obscurations. Once the obscurations are cleared, Buddha is not in elsewhere to find or to elsewhere to go and get it. We have Buddha is within our own mind. Once the obscurations are eliminated, the Buddha appears within ourselves. So that's why that is the way to how to proceed, and I would like to appeal and request everybody in this need of the hour is to study Buddhist Dharma and put them into practice in our daily lives. And if we do this, then we not only become a real Buddhist, but we can also succeed in attaining the Nirvana, the great Nirvana. And so once again, I would like to thank you very much, everybody, the Chief Abbot and Monastery, and also the Venerable Mahinda Thera, who've been so kind arranging my trip here in Sri Lanka, and his disciples. And so I would like to pray that may Buddha Dharma will spread in wide and far in every direction, and may all the people in the world live in peace, happiness, and harmony, especially in this country, Sri Lanka, which is so great country, blessed by the Buddha himself and many of his disciples and many of his Dharma kings. So that may this country be prosperous and peaceful and successful in every direction. May the blessings of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha be with you now and always. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
We are now honored to hear a congratulatory message from Dr. Rampapu Chelappa, First Secretary and the Head of Chancery of Indian High Commission of Sri Lanka.
Most Venerable Mahitipa Vimalsara Thero, respectable priests, the chief guest, His Holiness Sakya Gongma Trichen Rinpoche, the Honorable Leader of Opposition, His Excellency Sajit Premadasa, Honorable Member of Parliament Dilip Jayavira, and other respected members. Good evening. At the outset, I thank the Most Venerable Mahatipo Vimalasara Thera for inviting His Holiness to Sri Lanka. His presence amongst us allows for the sharing of profound vision, wisdom, practices, and the clarification of key principles in Buddhism, which can shape the lives of followers and the understandings of Dhamma. The presence of His Holiness brings blessings, guidance, and a deepened sense of connection to the teachings of Buddha. For many of us, it's a historical opportunity to receive direct teachings, empowerness, or blessings from the spiritual leader. His contributions to the world, especially in terms of spiritual leadership, cultural preservation, and promoting peace, make him an influential figure in the global arena. His teachings on compassion extended to not only individual practice, but to collective social responsibility. I also take this opportunity to highlight few points how India has contributed to Buddhism. Recently, Government of India has designated Pali as a classical language, which is the language used by Lord Buddha for preaching Buddhism in those years. And also we have reprinted the Pali grammar book Namamala recently in association with the Pathfinder Foundation. So we have also set up the Buddhist tourism circuit, and we have also set up a Kushinagar International Airport where Buddha attained Mahanirvana, so which helps most of the venerable monks as well as the Buddhist followers to visit these places very comfortably. So India government has been taking several steps to promote Buddhism in this region. So I once again I thank the Paramadhamma Chetty Mahapirivana for inviting His Holiness to Sri Lanka and for spreading the message of affection, love and peace. Thank you.
As a token of our gratitude, we will now proceed with presenting tokens of appreciations to His Holiness Sakya Gongma Trichen Rinpoche for the invaluable contributions and presence today. Finally, to conclude this event, I would like to invite Dr. Vinyari Ratna, the President of the Sarvodaya Shramadana movement, to deliver the vote of thanks.
His Holiness Sakya Gongma Trichen Rinpoche, Venerable Mahasangha, Honorable Sajit Premadasa, Leader of the Opposition, former the members of Parliament, distinguished invitees, devotees, and Dhamma friends. It is with deep humility and immense gratitude that I stand before you today to express our heartfelt appreciation at this most auspicious occasion. We have been truly blessed by the presence of His Holiness Sakya Gongma Trichen Rinpoche, whose visit to Paramadhamma Chaitya Mahapirivena marks a historic and spiritually significant moment for all of us. On behalf of the Mahasangha, the devotees, and the organizing committee, I extend our profound gratitude to His Holiness for gracing us with His wisdom, compassion, and blessings. His Holiness is a revered master in the Sakya tradition and a luminary in the world of Buddhism, whose teachings illuminate the path of wisdom and compassion for all beings. His visit has enriched our understanding of the Dhamma and deepened our spiritual practice. We also extend our sincere thanks to Venerable Mahasangha, Venerable Bhante Mahinda Thero in particular, Sister Sumitra, and Dr. Maithipe Vimalasara Nayaka Thero, Chief Incumbent of the Paramadhamma Chaitya Mahapirivena, and Venerable Kirama Vimalajyoti Nayaka Thero, whose guidance and support have made this event possible. Their unwavering commitment to upholding and propagating Dhamma is truly commendable. To all the organizers, volunteers, including Sarvodaya Shanti Sena volunteers and Dayaka Sabha devotees who worked tirelessly to make this visit a success, we offer our deepest gratitude. Your dedication, selfless service, and meticulous planning have ensured that this event was conducted with great reverence and devotion. We are also grateful to the opposition leader, the members of parliament and government officials, law enforcement authorities, and all who assisted us in enduring a smooth facilitation of His Holiness visit. Your cooperation and support have been invaluable. I also thank Mr. Rama Babu, First Secretary of the Indian High Commission, for gracing this occasion. Lastly, I extend my gratitude to each and every one of you who are present here today. Your devotion and enthusiasm in attending this blessed occasion reflect the deep-rooted faith and reverence for Buddha Dhamma in our hearts. May the merits gained from this sacred gathering be dedicated to the well-being and happiness of all sentient beings. May His Holiness Sakya Gongma Trichen Rinpoche be blessed with good health and long life, that he may continue to guide and inspire all of us on the noble path. May the Dhamma continue to flourish, bringing peace and harmony to the world. Teruvan Saranai.
We will now conclude this event with a Pali chanting by the most venerable monks to invoke blessings for peace, prosperity, and spiritual growth.
So we are about to conclude the holy gathering over here. So finally, according to our Theravada tradition, that we will have some Pali chanting for the blessings of the His Holiness, our Rinpoche, and all other the guests, the visitors, those who are visiting here, and also, of course, our opposition leader and all other important members who are here. And we want to bless upon each and every one of you. May you be well and happy by the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you have a good health. May you have a long life. May you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Thinking thus, we will have a short chanting and blessings. That's the final program. And after that, the venerable monks and our lay devotees, they can have their own the exchanging of the good thoughts each other. Thank you. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma. Bhavatu sabbha mangalang rakhantu sabbha devata sabbha buddhanubhavena Sutti bhavantu te bhavatu sabbha mangalang rakhantu sabbha devata sabbha dhammanubhavena Sutti bhavantu te bhavatu sabbha mangalang rakhantu sabbha devata sabbha sanghanu Sada sutti bhavantu te sabbitiyo vivajjantu sabba rogo vinasatu mate bhavatvanta Sukhi digayuko bhava abhivadana silissa nichang uddapachayino chattaro Vaddanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya Sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana Iminate samijjatu Thiruvan Saranai Hamadinatam